All right. Hello, everyone. So I have just completed the grow bed kind of quick training. I've got all the forms and documents and stuff done. So I'm just going to jump in and do a quick recording, just showing all the different components about this new product and what it takes to sell it and kind of pitch it to a customer. So I'm going to I'll be switching kind of back and forth between like slideshow and then also I'm going to actually navigate to the different areas for each part of this training. So it'll be a little bit of a longer one just because we have so many things that go along with this product, but stick with me, and like I said, I think this is going to be a good one for us. So anyway, there's a couple quick images of what this kind of style looks like. So this is the kind of style of grow bed we've come up with. It's pretty quick, it's easy to install, the pricing is pretty fair, so I think it's going to be a good one. This is two different options here, so I'm going to go through each of these things, and then like I said, I'll actually navigate through on my computer and show you how I would get to each of these forms through Dropbox so that you can access them as well. So first, let's talk about the components that make up these grow beds. So there's a couple of different types of components. There's full panels, which are right here. The full length panels. All of our panels are going to be hemmed at the top and at the bottom. So they have a hem on both sides, which is really nice. It keeps it safe. It also stiffens up the panel. So you'll have full length panels, which are either 4, 3, or 2 foot. So we only have 3 different lengths of them for now. And then you'll have a half panel, which is a stiffener. So this panel goes in between the grow bed somewhere in the middle like this. Usually you'll have one of these every 4 foot span. So this would be a 8 foot long grow bed. So you're going to have that stiffener in the middle to keep it from falling apart at the center. And what that allows for them to do is, if they wanted, say, a 2x8 that was 2 sections, then you could use a regular panel, but that stiffener panel is going to allow them to put the dirt over the top and keep the grow bed to look like one continuous grow bed. You'll have post caps, which are here, and then you'll have slit posts, which make up the corners. Okay, so we'll talk about all the different types of the components and everything and how they all come together in just a second. So this is just a quick look at all these, when all these components come together, what these really do look like. So you'll see that we've got a bunch of different types of finishes. I'll show those on the quote form, but for example, here you're seeing a post set with a burnt finish. So that's one of our options that we're doing. We're also doing painted and stained. There's an option here for unfinished. So that's what the unfinished post would look like. And there's another option with unfinished post as well. So we'll look at all those different components in just a second and see kind of how you can put those together. So these are some design examples. So the good thing about our system is that it's modular. So using a very simple set of components, you can actually build a multitude of different shapes with these grow beds. So the square option is the one that you saw before, obviously. You saw a rectangle option, but that was much longer than this example. So it had those half panels every 4 feet. And then you could see how you could do an L, you could do a horseshoe, you could do a continuous line of these grow beds that go in pretty much any direction. And you could also do a grid base, which is, a little bit harder to handle, but, you could have an opening in the middle where maybe they'll have a shed or like a storage box or something like that. So, and they really can get, as unique as you want. You could, if this is 4 foot long, you could cut out this post and then you could, just have one continuous line there. So there's a lot of different options to, how to design these things. So it's really going to be, I'll show you a form that you're going to use to work with the customer, and they'll kind of draw their design, and we'll figure out what components go with their grow bed. So I'll show you right here what I'm talking about. So this is what the customer will see. This is what we're going to take the customer's design and turn it into a little CAD drawing like this. And so this is the install document, or the install page that they'll see at the bottom of their order form. So they'll be able to see exactly where the layout of all their panels goes, and they'll see which ones are half panels and which ones are long panels. So in this case, all of these would be long panels except the one that's specified as a half panel. And like I said, that's just to stiffen it up. Usually if I said 4 foot, but it's actually, if it's a run of more than 3 foot or more, we will put that stiffener panel in between 2 posts. All right, so I want to look at all the different types of components. So I'm going to back out of the slide for just a second and look at all the different detailed components that are here and kind of show you, what our designers are using to design these things with. And mainly we're going to look at the posts. So if you'll see, and this is a grow bed order form. So this is what will be generated by either the salesperson or the light gauge department for the customer and for fabrication. So this is a really easy way to put, like I said, that install area here that shows how it's put together, but also for the fabrication department to know how many of each of these things to make. So these are obviously specified by, the different types of area of where the posts are going. But so they're basically 3 types of posts. You've got a 2-cut, a 3-cut, and a 4-cut. So some examples of where these would be placed was a 4-cut would be where there's 4 different panels going to it. 3-cut would be 3, and then 2 obviously are in the corners. And then there's also 2-cut. There are also 2-cuts like this one, which will be added before this panel thing comes out. I'm making a couple changes. There's also a 2-cut that looks like this, which bridges the gap between 2 2-foot sections that don't have a stiffener panel. So there is that option as well. We may do that one, or you may just see this one, which is fine. This one, which is fine, because it doesn't really matter if there's a single cut here, because you're going to have a post cover. But so I'll talk about those, and those will be on here as well. So you'll see the 1 and the 2. But anyway, so you'll have full panels. Full panels are pretty simple. You'll specify 2 at 4 foot, 2 at 2 foot, just like you do on an order form. And then you'll want to put the finish out here as well. So we may we may extend these, for example, just to make it easier for more entry. Any changes you guys would like to make to these forms, you're going to be using them the most. So if it's something that's easier for you to visualize something, just let us know and we'll make the change. So anyway, that's what an order form would look like. All these will be filled out and they'll be turned in. Now, what this order form is derived from is the quote form. So I want to navigate to the quote form because that's probably the one that we'll be using up front in the sales department kind of the most. But I'll show you where that is. So if we go to Dropbox and we go to products, remember our Dropbox is very product focused. Go to products, grow beds. And then it is going to be a document because it's a form. So go to documents and it'll be in its, in its little area here. But for now, just right here at the bottom, we're going to grab the grow bed quote form. Okay, so I'll show you. This is really simple. Basically, if a customer comes in asking for a grow bed, this is the minimum that we need done in order to get one ordered. So you would put in the quantity of the one you're about to order. The panel finish would either be Galvalume, galvanized, corrugated, cold roll corrugated. If you want to add a custom panel, like they said they want to do a tough rib or something like that, they can add that as well. And then, like I said, we'll make the changes on our design end to make it happen if it's possible. So the post cap finish is important because, like I said, black, copper, and painted. So these are the different types of post caps. We'll probably add a decorative to this as well. So we'll probably, you'll probably see it'll actually look more something like with a decorative option because they do have some, if the customer is specifying a certain post cap, or they just do none, and in that case you just won't put anything. Post finish would be blank, which is no finish. Painted, if you wanted the post painted. Burnt is that burnt look I showed you earlier, and then stained would be a certain type of stain. In the paint and stained area, you'll specify what type of stain they want. So if they have a color in mind, or they may just say a dark color or dark brown, then we may have to do some other confirmation with them, to say, okay, well, we have this color or whatever. And then you just draw the grow bed. So it's really, really simple. You'll just draw it out as best you can. You don't actually have to put any of the posts or any of these types of things if you don't want to. You just draw out the shape and then the dimensions, and we'll work out in the department, or like I said, I'll be training some people on how to do that. You'll draw it out in the shape they want with some dimensions, and we'll work out what components go with that job. Okay, so for something like a 2x2, it might be very simple, but if it's some kind of continuous design, something like this, for example, you probably want the designer to go through here, piece it together, and then create the component list on the order form for you. Okay. So again, this is it's a lot of information, but it's actually just because there's the system is kind of in place for all the different things that you need to do with a grow bed. But just know, as a salesman, for example, the minimum you need is just to fill out this really simple form and turn it into the department that produces these grow beds, which for now is the light gauge department. That's who's producing these. All right, so let's keep rolling. So that's the order form and the quote form, the two that you're most likely to see during kind of while you're quoting these things and whatnot. So let's say you wanted to quote one. Let's say that someone did want to quote a grow bed, and let's say you have filled this out. You have turned this into the light gauge department, and they've generated you a quote form very similar to this one. You've got all the different components and all that, but you want to give a price to the customer, okay? This is a really simple process as well. So we have a quoter in our B&M SSS spreadsheet. So I'll navigate to B&M SSS, and I'll show you where this is. So on B&M SSS, there is a tab that is Grow Bed Pricing Tool. All right, and this is probably one of the easier tools that we have to use. I'm going to hide these because it's just irrelevant info for what we're doing. So we're going to choose the panel type. Okay. Now remember, these can be expanded very easily and very quickly. So if your option is not being seen during this demo, but you've added it, it will be added as soon as it's requested by a customer. So for example, painted corrugated, or if we did a 5V one, I don't know if those would hold up or not, but we can try them. We would add them to this list, and then we'll make the adjustments in the department. So let's just do Galvalume corrugated. We'll choose post finish. We'll do burnt. Post cap finish. We'll do black. And then here is where you're going to enter in those numbers that are on this sheet right here, your order form. Okay, so you'll see all those. Though you'll have access to this, or it'll be in the customer file, and you can add those here. So let's say the posts. Let's do 6 posts, because I'm going to do that one. Like let's say I'm going to work with this one that we did earlier, which was the, let's see, this one, the 3x2. Okay, so I'm going to work with this 3x2 and put this one into the system. All right. So we're going to do, it would have 6 posts. It would have 2 foot full panels. It's going to have 2 of those. The 3 foot, it's going to have 4 of those. And then the 4 foot panels, and I've got a bug, so I'll fix that live with you right here. The 4 foot panels, it would have 0. And obviously that should be 0. 2 foot half panels, it would have 1, because remember that's the stiffener panel that goes in the middle. And then these are automatic. Post cap and wood screws are calculated automatically. So let's see what my bug is here. Hopefully I can find this pretty quickly without having to. All right, let's see if I can find my bug here. Hold on one second. Let's see, I got 3 foot panels, and it's calculating from B9, which is here, B9 times 3, which is 27, times F11, F11. Oh, it needs to be F10. Okay, cool. All right. Sorry about that. All right, so now this would calculate the price for your grow bed. Okay, so we can give the customers pretty quick pricing with these, and then it'll also give you your component list. So your component list, if you wanted to give a component list to the customer, for example, this would be a grid component list. This has everything they're going to have with quantities on their grow bed. So again, it gives you a total cost of the grow bed, which is something you don't want to disclose to the customer. This is kind of our what we're paying to build it. Then you're going to get the before tax and the after tax based on our standard markup. So this number will change. This markup number may change depending on how we decide to sell the grow beds. But for now, this is your negotiating tool if you want to maybe give someone a deal or try to make enough, whether or not you're making enough money on the pole barn the grow bed as a salesman. So let's keep rolling. So that's the quoting tool. So what the customer is going to get when they order one of these is actually pretty cool. So it's just a little assembly guide. One of these will be included with all of our grow beds, but it's something that you can communicate to the customer or even give them up front, or we'll have some up front. Maybe you can show them how simple this thing is to design. I'll show you where this is located as well. So again, if you go into that the same directory, the Dropbox products, grow beds, documents, you'll see the install document. So there's a PDF and a publisher if you want to edit it, but here's the document, and there they are. So there's 2 of them. We would cut these in half and lay them out. But this is what will be included with the barns, or the beds. I don't know why I keep saying pole barns. Step 1 is just laying out the grow bed, so it shows a layout. You would slide the grow bed panel into your post, just like this. It's pretty snug. Like, they're actually pretty tight, and they'll hold themselves pretty well without the screw, but we will send wood screws to put into each of the posts to secure it even better. Once you have the corner built, you'll work your way around the grow bed to assemble the whole thing. Finally, at the end, you will slide these stiffener panels in. So these stiffener panels are the little half panels. You'll slide those in order to secure the middle of the bed, and then install the post caps. So it really is that simple. These things are really easy to install and super easy to put together. So With this training, so this training is coming out now, and all of the demos have been ordered. So all of the demos are being produced by the Light Gauge department right now. Once these demos come out, I encourage you guys to go look at these demos, work your way through them, kind of look around them, get really familiar with the product. Let me know if you have any questions about this product. I think that's the last page. Yeah. So let me know if you have any questions about these products. Like I said, it's really simple. They're easy to produce, and the pricing you'll see is pretty competitive online with kind of some stuff. So I think these things may move pretty well, but let's get out there and push them and market, and then we're going to come up with some marketing stuff. So if any of you have any ideas about that, or if you have anyone who wants to try one, I'm really motivated right now to get a couple of these out there. So if there's anyone out there that might want one, let me know. I'd like to make them a deal in order to get some photos and stuff for marketing. So